Blah, y'all already know what it is. Your boy Yaakov, what it do? The outlet to reality, the holdest podcast in Vegas and Chicago. What up? This is the place where you want to hide from your drama or maybe hide from your baby mama. Just kidding. But anyways, fans, thank you for staying tuned. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Ching! And today we have a very special guest who is a commercial mortgage broker, a motivational speaker, and a friend who has a passion in helping and bringing Jews closer to Judaism. Give it up for my boy and only Chemie Wyne.
Thank you. It's an honor to be on, Yaakov. I know it took a while to get here, but I'm happy that it's finally happening. Appreciate it, brother.
Oh man, thank you, man. I got kind of sad, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, man, I've been waiting to get my boy on, and I know he's always flying and cruising in the street. I never see my boy, so I got kind of sad. You know, I was sweating, losing hair, but it's okay.
You got plenty. You got plenty that all the rest of us are envious of.
Thank you, brother.
I'm good at creating the illusion that I'm busier than I actually am, all right? Don't take it personally.
Oh man, I love it, brother. But look, I do want to share this to our fans and everyone. So I met Chemie last year for Purim. We're about to hit our 1 year anniversary knowing each other. It was like a big hookah event, beautiful. And I loved it because I met a lot of people from Young Israel, from the shul in Vegas, beautiful place. And it really got me connected to other Jews. And I was very happy. And one of my memorable memory I have with you is your mom actually invited me over for Shabbat, and you text me to see if I was really gonna come still. And I said, yeah, I'll come. And I remember it like yesterday, going to your house, you know, sitting down. You were across from me, and your dad said the most powerful words I'll never forget. It probably changed my life. Three powerful words I'm gonna say. He said,
Wow.
Oh, he said, man, guys, if you guys don't know, Cove just had me on his podcast. It's amazing thing. Y'all got to check it out. That was already Cha-ching. The second one blew my mind. He said, guys, I'm gonna be honest, but David is the first Mexican Guatemalan Jew to ever be in my Shabbat dinner. I was like, it's an honor, Rabbi, it's an honor. And we started laughing. We took a shot, and the part that moved me the most. So for those who don't know, I didn't grow up with a father. Rabbi Wyne, you know, there's a prayer we say in Hebrew for Shabbat where we say Kifraim and Menashe, and basically in English it's like to bless our kids to be like Menashe and Ephraim, right? And you know, Rabbi Wyne blessed Chemie, his brother, Hemi's brother. He blessed his sons. And then he came to me and did the same blessing to me, knowing that I never told him I didn't grow up with my father. But for him to do the blessing for me, I felt like it for me was like I almost broke down as a even though I'm 30, because I've always wished my father could do that prayer for me. That's how powerful it meant for me. So that was my favorite line that Rabbi did, Rabbi Wyne, who I had on the podcast. But I just had to share that that quick little story. But Chemie, please tell me your thoughts about it and your experience, your impression when you first met me too. Please spill the beans, just not the cream. Just not the cream.
I'll hold a little bit back. Our audience doesn't even know everything, you know what I'm saying? But no, that's really cool. I think that's awesome that that was the most impactful takeaway that you had from our Shabbos dinner. Over the years, obviously, we've had thousands and thousands of people come through, and you never know the point that's going to be truly impactful for that one individual. Might be different one to the next. So I mean, when we met, I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, it was about a year back now, Purim time, and a new Jewish face is always a pleasure. And we connected by that Purim party, and then you came to Young Israel Aish for the Purim meal about a couple days later. We had a big barbecue. You have 200 people in the room. There's DJ going on. Everyone's drinking l'chaims, eating food. Everyone's dressed up. Great vibes all around. And something that's even more pleasurable to me, aside, in addition to meeting a new face, is being able to integrate someone into the community. And, throughout the party, seeing you sit down and, chatting with this guy and connecting with that person, to me, I mean, that tops it off. I mean, it's great if you're able to cultivate a new relationship, a new friendship, but when they could feel comfortable around your friends and feel like they're part of the community, I mean, that's just awesome. And then having you for Shabbos was really great, and to hear about your unique experience growing up in Chi-Town, and your whole background, your whole story and everything, and with your mom, I thought was just really neat. And that's coming from someone who, grew up in an open home, so to speak. I grew up from the time I was really little, 3 years old. We always had tons of Shabbos guests at my house. Jews from all different walks of life, different affiliations. When I grew up, when my parents moved here in 1995, so I was just turning 3 years old when my dad started the Young Israel community here. The only other Orthodox Jews in town was Rabbi Harlig, and outside of his boys, Mati and Levi, who are about a year older than me. I mean, I was like the only Orthodox kid in the state of Nevada. So I grew up with just tons of Jews from all different affiliations coming to our house Friday night for Shabbos dinner, and having friendships with people from all different levels of observance background. For me, just growing up in that environment of, it's a judgment-free zone. I have no clue if I would have grown up in your circumstances, what I'd look like today. I probably wouldn't look much different than you. And just knowing that the common bond, the common denominator between us is that we're Jewish brothers, it makes it really easy to really just connect and, kind of like have that love, have that natural friendship when you meet a new face. And it's been great over the first year, having you over for Shabbos, and then connecting with you at various events inside the shul, outside the shul. And it's a pleasure to finally be on. And I know that you demanded that when I come on to the podcast, I wear the red velvet jacket. I was not going to disappoint. I was feeling a blue jacket. I was feeling a black one. And I said, no, we're going red for Yaakov. This is what he demanded. This is what we're going to deliver.
Yes, that's what I wanted. It's
all worth it for the jacket, baby.
I love it, man. I'm telling you, my brother got class. He got class. And I gotta say, brother, it's amazing story, hearing that your family came from Canada. I gotta say, how was it? Was it challenging, being an Orthodox family growing up, in your childhood? And did you ever get tempted maybe breaking kosher? It's very hard when if you were growing up in the Orthodox family, there's not a lot of kosher restaurants, I bet. So it's got to be a challenging, like, and it's okay to be honest. Like, if you broke it a few times, I won't get mad. I'll just say, just share a slice of pizza. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I got you, man. I mean, listen, it's a fabulous question, fantastic question. It's a little different when you're a kid. Obviously, I think what some might have perceived as a challenge, the fact that when I'm in elementary school, I'm the only kid who's, Orthodox, and I'm the son of the rabbi. So they kind of like put you on this pedestal of, this is the example of what it means to be like an Orthodox Jew. And it's like, hey, Chemie, come to the front of the class, show everyone your tzitzit, show everyone how to do the bracha. And, when there were birthday parties, the parents were super accommodating on a Sunday. Go to a sleepover, you have 12, 15 kids in the class. We go out to Treasure Island, and it's like, hey, they're all eating, chicken fingers or, cheeseburgers, whatever it is. And it's like, as a kid, like, you're just not going to eat it. Maybe they bring in some kosher food, maybe they don't. And in a certain sense, I think the advantage of growing up in an environment where the people you're really close with don't necessarily share the same observance, standards, so to speak, it kind of makes you even more firm, more secure in your own set of values, in your own beliefs, because you understand that you're in an environment where the circumstances around you aren't catering necessarily to the way that you're living in your home. So when you choose to do it regardless, nonetheless, it reaffirms, whether consciously or subconsciously, that this is integral, that this is important to me. And then it gives you the opportunity just to be a shining example of, you could be Orthodox and you could be happy. You could have a meaningful life. You could be energetic. You could be a person that people want to spend time with, that people want to be around. And when you go ahead and you break down those barriers and say, listen, it's irrelevant. You know, some of my closest friends, people that I literally would lay down and do anything for, they're not observant at all. And it really comes down to the character. So number one is, what's the character of the individual? That's going to determine the friendship. Ooh. Is it possible that maybe we have different standards when it comes to observance, Shabbat, kosher, this and that? Sure, absolutely. And I don't think that a person should say, oh, I'm not going to necessarily share in your social circles because, you know, you have a different set of values from that standpoint. At the end of the day, like I mentioned before, had I grown up in that circumstance like that person, I'd probably look different, just as they'd probably look different if they grew up in my set of circumstances. But I think growing up in that environment where I was one of the only Orthodox kids, it kind of like reaffirmed to me the significance, the importance, and what was special about the fact that I lived this type of lifestyle.
That's deep. That's deep. I like that you really got me thinking about principles and values. So for me, right, when I go on a date, I make sure that I don't go out on a Friday because Friday Shabbat is special. And if I let it slide, right, and I go out with the girl on Friday night, it shows that I'm not really serious about my principles. Because Shabbat is gotta be first. It's gotta be important, special. And I have to rearrange my schedule. I'll be like, look, Friday, you want to do let's do the date, but let's change it to Sunday. It's a little better. I'm free now. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's
it's amazing.
Right?
And that's your Shabbos. That's your Shabbat. So it's like the fact that you're willing to say, I'm going to draw a line in the sand, you know, that Friday night is Shabbat night. So dates don't happen on Friday night. I mean, that's incredible. And one of the things like my dad always emphasizes to people is that one of the biggest misconceptions in Judaism is that it's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. And it's just not true. And there's so many examples of that in the Torah. But, you know, if a person says, you know, if they're growing in their Judaism and they say, listen, I know this is true, I'm just not at the level or at the point where I'm ready to commit to the whole thing, so to speak. But to understand that each and every level and each and every step of spiritual growth, of spiritual advancement is so special and significant in God's eyes. It's like, you know, I tell people the idea of it's all or nothing, it's so foolish. Imagine you're walking on the street and you see there's $100 there. And you realize if I bend down to pick it up, I'm only going to be able to grab $20 because by the time I get to the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth bill, it's all going to fly away. So I'm not going to pick up anything. What are you, crazy? You can pick up $20. You're not going to pick up $20 just because you can't get $100. What are you, nuts? Pick up whatever you can. So it's like my dad also says Friday night, you know, there's a mitzvah, one of the big 10, one of the 10, the fourth one, to remember the Sabbath. So how do you do that? You do that by acknowledging that it's Shabbos, by saying good Shabbos. Yeah, it happens to be now the rabbi said that we do it over something significant, so we do it over a glass of wine. So my dad always tells the story how he met with someone on Friday, a Jewish guy. He said, hey, what are you doing tonight? You coming to shul? You coming to Shabbat dinner? He's like, nah, I'm going to a nightclub. Like, okay, you going to be hanging out with some Jews there? Sure. Okay, are you guys going to be drinking? Yeah, probably. There's a bar there. All right, Friday night in the nightclub, not necessarily at shul, not necessarily at a Shabbat dinner. You're in a place where a lot of people might say, hey, this isn't the most ideal way to spend your Friday night. But you know what? You know what you could do? You could raise your glass of alcohol to the rest of the Jews and say, good Shabbos, everybody. And you know what? You fulfilled the mitzvah. You fulfilled the commandment of remembering that it's Shabbos by saying good Shabbos in a nightclub. In certain ways, you elevated the spiritual essence of that nightclub. Who else is doing that other than you? So it's like, don't diminish or take away from the significance of doing even a little bit. And that's one of the things I think that people, they tend to say, oh, I'm not doing the whole thing, so I'm not going to do anything. Yeah. Each and every little bit is so special and unique. And it's like, I think also that's one of the things that growing up in Las Vegas in kind of like an outreach environment really became really became ingrained in me, to recognize the significance of every little step that a person could make in the right direction.
Wow, that's really dope. I've never heard that concept before. You just made me want to go out to the nightclub tonight. That's kidding.
I know, let's go to the nightclub. Shabbos, good Shabbos.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But man, that's amazing. You really got me thinking, and also we learned too that Gemara talks about resting, right? That some people think on Shabbat that you're not supposed to do, which is to sleep all day in Shabbat. And that's a misconception that many people who haven't read, right? And it's more about, you know, leaving, of course, being away technology, reading Torah, davening, having that family time too, because this is the time to spend every moment and be grateful for everything around, right? Hashem rested. I mean, I could be wrong, Hemi, but that's what I was taught when I was young. Because then
Yeah,
you're missing out Shabbat, right? Am I right or wrong? I
right.
don't know.
So, no, I think you're on the money. So, God created the world for 6 days. He rested on the seventh. Now, what does it mean? God rested, right? God got tired. You're like, it's too tough. 6 days of work. I really need a break. God doesn't get tired. What it means that he rested is that he saw that everything in his creation was good. He created the essence of now what the world can achieve in its potential. What the seventh day, what Shabbos is all about, it's recognizing that God created the world and God runs the world. And resting means to go ahead and take in and appreciate the significance of the world of what Hashem has given us. So it's like, if you notice, I don't know if you recall, but to our house for Friday night, we have a tradition at the Wyne household on Friday night. Everyone goes around and says the highlights of their week. Why? Because Shabbos is a time where a person should take in and appreciate the blessings that they had. So granted, if a person sleeps the entire Shabbos, technically, did they break Shabbos? They didn't break Shabbos. But did they uphold Shabbos to the standard of what the spirit of Shabbos should be about? On Shabbos, you should find a way to improve yourself this Shabbos more than where you were last Shabbos. And you should come out of a Shabbos feeling like a bigger Jew, a bigger person than where you were Friday afternoon when Shabbos began. So you could do that by learning. You could do that by coming to shul. You could do that by spending time with other Jews, having Shabbat dinner. There's a lot of ways to do it. But yeah, if you sleep through the whole thing, technically you didn't break Shabbos, but how could one really say that they're a better Jew today coming out of a Shabbos than they were going into a Shabbos if they were just like off the entire time, just sleeping, just snoozing? So probably better to get out a little bit, come hang out at a Kiddush, come to shul a little bit, hang out with some Jews, have a good time, have a l'chaim.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, I think that's true. You can't I love that concept of improving every Shabbat, right? You want to do something different. Whether it may be studying Gemara. I thought that's genius. I really love that. Now, Hemi, I gotta ask you, so I know you and your father have been involved in this outreach program for wealth and Torah, where you guys meet up at the Queen Ridge. And for the first time, I gotta be honest. So I've been two of them already. And the second one, hands down, was my favorite. I love that we
Yeah.
had two guest speakers, Al, and I forgot the other guy's name, and then you were on the podium with a microphone, and you were asking questions to both of them, which was amazing because it felt like we're engaged and we were all learning together, which was amazing. I don't know if you came up with the idea. I got to give you props, but you definitely
Sure.
shocked me,
Pile it
brother.
on. It was my idea. Yeah. I'll take the credit. It's all good. Yeah, no, thank God. I think that Q&A factor, I think, really enhanced the entire program. And the Journey to Wealth, it was our third program, I believe. The first time we did it close to a year ago, we had 35 attendees. Then we had 75. Then we had close to 100 this last one. And it's really cool because Journey to Wealth, it's about bringing together Jews from all different affiliations, all different demographics, so to speak, bring them together in one room. And the common denominator is obviously business, wealth management, wealth advancement, career growth, advice, insight. And I think it's one of the beautiful things about Judaism is that there's such an emphasis on community. And I tell people, I'm like, if you're not involved in the Jewish community, and on the most basic level, that means, showing up to shul once in a while, showing up to shul even for just a half hour Shabbat day. When you put yourself in a room with 150 other Jews where everyone's doing different stuff throughout the week, different career paths, you know, everyone's doing something different. That's the most ideal setting for networking, to figure out who is it that specializes in that field, who is it that specializes in that field. And if I ever have a question, or I need to be pointed in the direction, or assist someone and point them in the direction to somebody who might be able to help them with their own career, being involved in the community, that's the best. So the Journey to Wealth program, which we're going to try to do once a quarter, is really just cool, because regardless of your observance level, you could be super religious, super not religious. You could be 25, you could be 45. You're going to get value out of it. First of all, there's always value when you get in a room with a bunch of other Jews. It's just the nature of things. And you're going to get value because we try to pack it with speakers that are going to be informative, that have life experience. And thank you very much for giving credit to the Q&A that we set up before. I thought that was just a really cool factor where we were able to kind of keep it a controlled environment with controlled questions that, it's tough when you have a room filled with different people in different age brackets and doing different things in their career. How do you have questions which are going to be applicable and insightful across the spectrum? So I tried to split it up. I had 7 or 8 questions lined up, and thank God I got a lot of positive feedback, and hopefully we can continue that. We have a lot of really cool ideas for future events, future programs. I think maybe you could be a possible candidate to get up there. I know you like sitting behind the mic. I don't know if it's just one-on-one. Maybe you like doing it in front of a group of 100 people, but we could figure out a slot for you to bring some value. And, that's what it's all about. Bring value to people and having people walk away inspired.
I love it, brother. The day you tell me to come and to share even the small 2-5 minute story, I can make it short. I'm more happy to go up in the podium. It would be an honor. The podcast would be the best thing, how to start a podcast.
They're love it. Beautiful.
You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
How to get different rabbis involved, how to get people connected and share what does Judaism mean to them, and how this started, because I know it could be scary, frustrating if you have a lot of ideas but you don't know how to put it into work. That could be tricky. But yeah, brother, I'm open. I'm so glad. That's awesome. I do gotta share one little story, real short, and I'll make it real, like, not specific. But so my brother Chemie was right there, man. And I'm not gonna lie, there was a lot of pretty girls there. I ain't gonna lie. Your boy was looking fly that day. I don't know what he was wearing, but I was looking fly. And Chemie goes,
"You look pretty fresh." I remember.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
You're looking pretty fresh.
Thank you. And I was like, man, this girl, she looks really cute, and I want to go talk to her. And Chemie's so smart. I gotta be honest. My boy was protecting me, but I wasn't paying attention. He's like, brother, I got
your back.
Yeah, thank you. No, I know. It's just true. He's like, brother, I don't think she's for you. I think, don't worry, I'm gonna find you somebody special, who's gonna be very, connected, and I don't think this is for you. And I know it was positive feedback. And me, I'm like, so I went, I still try to, basically, see if there could be something going, maybe there's an interest, maybe, and nothing. And I could tell, even though my boy Chemie said, I think you were in love, but I don't think it just wasn't for me. And it wasn't, and it didn't work out, right? It didn't work out. I got rejected pretty much, but it was just so funny when we were outside and Hemi was laughing. He's like, bro, you sound like you're in love, man. Like, everything you're describing, you're like in love. And I'm like, bro, but I'm just kind of disappointed. It didn't like it wasn't for me, and I should have listened to you. And Hemi was so funny. He was just like, bro, don't worry about it. There'll be more opportunities. You're still young. And it's funny because, as a guy, right? I'm gonna be honest. As a guy, we have a lot of dreams and expectations. What we find in a woman, like for me personally, I want somebody that can help me grow not only spiritually, but like mentally, emotionally, whatever it may be. And I feel like this is the time, but at the same time, I have to be ready for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I think what do they say? They say envision the person you want and then try to figure out, are you right now in your current state, are you the person that you believe that person that you would want would want?
Ooh.
Because oftentimes people want a certain type of person. Well, think about it. Are you right now, in terms of your character development, your maturity, your personality, your physicality, whatever it might be, are you the person that the quality of individual that you want, that they would want you? So it's like, it takes a certain level of self-awareness and introspection that sometimes, like, we have certain perception, aspirations of what type of individual we want that would help us, that would be a great partner and help us be the best versions of ourselves in this world. And then it's like, well, am I the person right now that person would want? If I'm not, then I first got to work on the self-improvement, factor in order to, and who knows, maybe I'll work on that and I'll overshoot and I'll become even better. And then maybe that's not necessarily the right fit for me. It's happened for me as well. When I was 22, 23, 24, I mean, I'll tell you, when I was dating 23, 24, there was someone who I was kind of like infatuated about for a while. And then thank God, after like a year, Hashem, God just popped into my brain. I woke up one morning, I'm like, wow, this person would not be good for me. Like, I honestly would not be able to be the best version of Chemie Wyne and bring to the world what I know I was put here for if I was married to a person. And immediately, like, the infatuation, the obsession, like, it went away. And that was a gift from Hashem. Sometimes you just need God to, like, plant that in your brain, because we're not going to figure it out ourselves. So we need a little divine assistance. But, listen, it's not so simple. You got to get a rabbi. I'm your homeboy, but I'm not your rabbi. You got to find a rabbi to chat with about the dating stuff. The rabbi of love.
I love
Rabbi
that.
love.
I want to meet him. See, I want to meet him, but I gotta say, brother, it's so nice how still, like, as a brother, you were looking for the best for me. You know what I'm saying? And I always look at that as like, there's a story. Actually, there's a pasuk that says, "Don't put a stone in front of a blind person, a stumbling block in front of a blind person."
Yeah.
Now, people might take it literally, right? Literally, it's like saying just don't make them trip. But when you study it, right, what it's trying to say between the lines is don't give bad advice. And you were giving good advice.
Exactly.
You wanted what was best for your homeboy. So you're like, brother, I know you're in love, but I gotta, yeah, just listen to me. And it's so funny because I look back and I was like, damn, my boy was really looking out. I was just being a little ignorant. I was like, nah, I gotta do my thing. I gotta do my thing.
And by the way, unfortunately, I got to the point where I have enough respect for you to tell you that, only because I saw over the years friends of mine that were dating people who just weren't good for them. But as a friend, you want to say, it's not really my business. I'm not really going to, like, advise you or tell you what to do. And it's like, you look back over time, it's like, you know what, with that friend, maybe if I would have said, listen, this person's not the best person for you, things would be a little different. Things would be better for them. So I kind of, like, learned the hard way to have enough respect for my friends to be willing to do the painful thing, which says, step out of your comfort zone and tell them this might not be the best thing for you, regardless of what the repercussions are going to be, regardless of if Yaakov's going to turn around and say, Chemie, what the heck are you talking about? What are you telling me what to do? I like this person. What's it any of your business? You know what? It's worth it. That reaction is worth it for the chance that you're going to save someone from doing the thing that, in hindsight and retrospect, is going to end up being bad for them.
Wow. I love that. I love that. There's a quote that you made me think of. It says, friends tell you what you want to hear, but best friends tell you what you need to hear. And that's literally
Yeah.
what my brother did. I gotta give you props, brother. You know, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Oh man. Well, look,
I
brother.
gotcha.
Let me. It's like Zoom's about to kick me out. Guys, this is the outlet to reality. This podcast in Vegas and Chicago every Tuesday. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Ching. Know where to find me. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, the outlet to reality. My Snapchat is take one pass it. And my TikTok is at Yaakov28. And Chemie, where can my fans find you?
If you swing by Young Israel, Asia, Las Vegas, Shabbat day, you'll find me. You'll find me by the L'chaim section. I'll have some high quality whiskey, some high quality scotch or bourbon in my hand. In my left, I'll have a bottle of good quality vodka or tequila in the right. I'll be shaking hands, giving people hugs, and would be great to have you. Look me up on Facebook. I might come up as Michael Wine. There's this guy, Michael Wine, out there. Looks just like me. My English name, my middle name. So when I go by work and commercial mortgage brokerage and on Facebook, social media, that's who it is. But it's still Chemie. Same old Chemie Wine. Don't worry. Same guy. And reach out, and looking forward to connecting with you. A friend of Yaakov's is a friend of mine.